Okay, so UFC 221 recap. Let's go ahead and recap that. We're here in Thailand, so it is officially 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We woke up this morning to watch it, and I'm in a little bit of a bad mood, man. A little bit of a down mood.
It's understandable.
Obviously, my boy Luke didn't work out so well. We'll go in order of the fights from the main card, top or bottom to top, but just had to get it out, man.
Yeah,
I'm
I
bummed.
hear you, man.
I'm bummed on this one.
Well, dude, that's, watching you fight fucking sucks watching your friends fight.
Yeah.
Man. Especially when the results this shitty,
Yeah.
But
we have, so let's go back to the first fight of the main card. Pedro.
yeah, Pedro versus Safarov.
Safarov, yeah. So, good fight. I mean, you have a classic Sambo guy. And Pedro just stayed very composed, I thought. Fought very well. Looked relaxed. Landed some big things. And, of course, that Kimura sweep to finish was pretty sick, right?
I never seen it before.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was pretty. And then when he stepped over his head,
when he put that leg around the head, that was that sealed the deal.
Do you think every single bone in his arm popped?
I don't know. I think you're talking ligaments and tendons.
That's what I probably should have said, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that was. I'd never seen it before, so I don't even know what happens. And we're not going to do that to me. We're not going to.
No.
Just because I don't know what it's like.
Yeah. But when it was flawless move in general, and then when he put that leg over the head, wow, that was just, man, that was the only best thing he could have done more, and that just secured that. I mean, he had no place to go, he had no escape. Essentially, when you look at that, if you freeze frame that scene right there when he had that leg over the head, man, there was just nothing he could do.
It looked pretty nice, man.
And coming from Sambo, I mean, those guys have seen everything. So I mean,
it's a lot of heel hook and leg locks and stuff, right?
Yeah, they do everything. I mean, they have a little bit of everything, but he wasn't used to that. I mean, he had no answer. I mean, from the reversal, he didn't even try to turn or get out of it, and it was just straight into the lock and then right over the head, man. Beautiful. Man. So beautiful finish from Pedro. And
how funny are those Australians when they win?
Yeah.
He was, what did he say? He goes, man, he had some pretty good stamina for having a dad bod. I mean, who talks like that?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm going to drink a generous amount of beer and make love to my lady when I get home.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's pretty
I
good.
missed that.
Those guys are hilarious, man. Well, you know when they're here.
Yeah. So I think the Aussie crowd is a good crowd, man.
Dude, they were knowledgeable. When the Aussie guys stood up, the whole place went apeshit.
Yeah.
So
they're a fun crowd to be around, man. I've been there twice.
Been there, yeah.
And it's been a good crowd both times. Really, really good, man. So yeah, so the first fight was a good finish. Yeah. Brought in the show quite well.
Start off the card nice.
Yeah. Right. So the next fight we had Matthews versus Jing Liang, I think.
The Leech.
And so if you look at my Twitter, I picked Matthews in this fight, and this was the fight that the most people said I was wrong about. Why are you picking Matthews? He obviously was in a rut, and he lost a few fights previously to the last one. And he's young,
He's 23, yeah.
But I just had a gut feeling he was going to pull it off, even though I knew Jing Liang is, the guy's a warrior. He's a beast. He's definitely in your face and slinging.
He had a 4-fight win streak going into that.
Yeah. He definitely had he was definitely the favorite by far, and so that's why people were giving.
Vegas picked him.
Yeah.
So
that's why people were basically saying, why are you picking Matthews in this fight? But I just had a gut feeling, man. And I was kind of thinking more so just kind of pulling for him to get himself out of a rut and get back on the winning track, I guess. I don't know. But, man, what a great fight. I mean, from the start, I was even surprised. I mean, he completely dominated, knocked down Jing Liang. I think he got full mount. And I mean, he couldn't have dominated that first round anymore.
No. It was 10th round for sure.
Yeah, and then obviously.
Second round.
And then they slung again, and then it led into that guillotine. And that's crazy, man. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a second. So he gets put in a guillotine, and Jin Liang literally shoves 2 fingers in his eye socket. And the ref, I don't know who the ref is. I'll try to look it up afterwards. No internet site saying his name.
He's gone.
And I hope we never hear his name again. That guy has no business reffing a fight. He should have pulled his hand out of there and caused him a point. It's one thing if you do an accidental foul and you get a warning, but when you're escaping and you're using, you're making a foul while escaping a move, that should be a point immediately.
You're using the bridge of his nose to pull it away from inside his eye.
Eye socket.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, blood was pouring out of his eye.
He's like he still has an eye.
That was crazy, man. That was absolutely bonkers. And he very well could have been done. I mean, that could have been the end of the fight right then and there. And he ended up losing anyway, but still. Man, I
Well,
can't believe.
What's the rule on that? Because it's like I get it, a foul to escape or whatever, but I mean you can't pull somebody's eye out. I mean, then they're like, oh, if he does it again,
I mean, even unintentional eye gouges while you're on the feet, you know,
you still get penalized for
you
it.
get penalized for that, right? So it's like when you're in an escape, I mean, he dug his fingers in the eye. There's no way you don't know you're digging your fingers in someone's eye.
You would think.
I can't imagine doing that deep and not knowing that I have my fingers in somebody's eye.
Hey, but big ups to Matthews. You know, after he got the decision win,
Yeah.
they obviously asked him about it, and he's just like, hey, you know, it's life and death in there, trying to escape. I have no ill will toward him.
Yeah.
He didn't complain to the ref one time. I would have. I'd have been bitching my ass off. But
Yeah, I remember he got up and blood was pouring out. They asked him about it in between the round or something, and yeah, he had no comments. And the fun, and like what you said at the end, man, dude, big hats off to him. I mean, that's a lot of respect, dude. I don't know many fighters that wouldn't have complained about that and said, you know, at least said something like that was wrong. You know, that shouldn't have happened. He should have been fouled, but whatever. I got the win, and you know, it worked out for me. But he was just like, man, in the heat of the battle, sometimes you don't know what you're doing. Completely making excuses for him. Like that. What a fucking stand-up dude for doing that. You know.
well, in all your years, not just watching fights, but obviously you've trained 40,000 times more hours than you fought.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen somebody bleed from an eye poke?
Not that
or
bad.
An eye gouge or
Not
an eye?
that bad. I mean, when he stood up and then the blood started pouring out, I thought he may have
I
like
thought he
taken the
got
eyeball out.
elbowed or something. I have no idea. I
No,
mean,
I
we
would-
couldn't. The TV was kind of far away.
Oh, okay.
At AK
That
Thailand.
was crazy. Yeah. And you know, he matured a lot in that fight. If you've seen his previous fights, man, he made leaps and bounds in that fight. That was a huge fight for him.
They say he grew 2 inches since his first UFC fight. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Who continues to grow when they're in the UFC?
Yeah.
Physically, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. No, that was a huge fight for him, not only technically, but you know, the fact that how he handled the win and what he said and his humbleness, he grew as a fighter big time. He's going to gain a lot of fans for that. I think he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. But the critique I had, which not even really critique, I'm not going to critique a black belt for a style. I was just really curious when he had back control, why he didn't figure four. That's just my thing for some reason. I don't know. I really like figure four and squeezing the life out of somebody, like just making it painful for him. And he actually even had his legs crossed at one point, which obviously is kind of a big no-no. But, you know, it was at the end of the round. He was just trying to like get that choke as fast as he could before the round ended. But yeah, just for anyone asking what my opinion would be on that, I love the figure four, man, from the back. Like, I feel like you just can crush somebody's soul.
Brody
when
Farber.
they can't breathe, man, that takes their mind off that
He did it
neck,
to me one
you know?
time. He just, for some reason, in the middle of the restaurant, did it to me and literally crushed the living shit out of me.
Yeah, it sucks.
So I mean, I could imagine getting punched while that's happening. So
And if you get somebody, and he actually, I think he flattened him out too on top. And if you flatten somebody out with the figure four, your legs are in a position where you're going to be based. So it's harder for them to roll away from it. And you can pretty much just grab their head and almost tap them. I mean, like, you cause so much torque on their spine and their stomach, the air going out. You can literally just grab their forehead and just pull it back.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sucks, man. That's why I like it. And in fact, I think it was Luke, to be honest with you, I think it was Luke that did it to me some of the first times, which turned me into doing it to other people. Like, because he would always Luke does figure fours with his legs from every position. He'll do all kinds of weird, you know, he's so long. His jiu-jitsu game is so underrated from what people think, you know, like, and he'll squeeze the life out of you, man. So, like, I think rolling with Luke is where I started doing it, and then now I do it to everyone.
Good technique.
I'll go to figure four every chance I get. So, anyway, big ups to Matthews on that, man. He grew as a fighter. Proved me right, man. That was one of my predictions I got right. You know, I think half or so. I'm horrible at predictions, man. I never make them. I'm so bad, dude, because like I feel like I can be so on point as a corner man and a coach, but like when it comes to picking fights,
Well, I think you go with your heart a lot too, because
that's another problem.
Relationships with
So
these guys,
I'm looking at a lot of the cards, and like I know a lot of these people, and even if like you think the other person might be a tough competitor and might possibly win, you just can't say. You know, if you go public, it's tough. You don't want to be mean, man. So you don't want to go against somebody that you know and you train with, that's your friend or whatever. So that's tough too. But even if I try to pick, man, I'm just always a little bit off. I mean, I guess nobody can pick every fight.
They'd be millionaires then.
But I will say I'm proud of that Matthews fight, because that would be the one that the least people picked, because I think that was probably one of the most lopsided, I guess, fights of the card,
Well,
at
he
least the
should've-
main card.
He should have won in the second round anyway. So
Yeah, and
I'm
so
glad he got the
not only did he win, but he won so dominantly. I think that I'll take the credit for that as being my
good
big
job.
my big win of my picks,
good work.
even though I was wrong on like obviously Luke and Mark Hunt. So
Whoa, don't skip ahead.
well, okay, so we'll keep going. We'll keep the flow going. Okay, so the next fight, Ty versus Asker. Now, Ty is our boy.
Yes,
I mean, he comes here, and you've hung out with him plenty of times, and
plenty of times.
I've hung out with him in Brazil, Thailand, Australia.
Yeah.
And I remember being in Brazil with him in 2015, August or April. It was an A month. I'll tell you that. Does that sound bad?
I mean,
It was an A
only
month.
two to choose from.
It was when Soa fought, and I was hanging out with Ty in Brazil, and he was coming up, and he had just a couple fights, and he's a little chubby, as you can see in the fight. Now that's in shape, and when he's out of shape, he's maybe a little bit more chubby or whatever. And he was like, "Man, I want to be the next UFC champion. And he was just wouldn't stop talking about he's going to be the champion. And I was there cornering Soa, and we were hanging out, and I'm just thinking to myself, dude, man, you're confident. I mean, I'm like, it's another ball game when you get in the UFC, you know. So in my mind, I was thinking like, don't be overconfident, because you jump in the UFC, if you do get there, it's a different ball game in there. And like, don't be too confident. But I did like his enthusiasm, and I liked how optimistic he was, and he was confident. It wasn't even like a fake confidence. It was like a real confidence. And then
Well, it's like whenever or one of the last show or two, I can't remember which podcast, but he doesn't know how to lose yet, because he was at the time he told you that, what was he, 5-0?
he was just a couple fights in.
And
He was
then-
undefeated.
Yeah, then he got
We
6-0.
still-
Now he's 8-0,
Yeah.
9-0, 9-0. Yeah, and all 9 first-round knockouts.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that big. I mean, he beat James McSweeney to get in the UFC,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, that was Ty's 7th fight.
So, but James is a good striker.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, this is
he's
a guy that's
a
fought in
veteran.
Lumpini Stadium. He's fought in, I mean, he's fought in every major
Yeah, I think he's like
kickboxing and
43
striking.
and 3 or something. And
Yeah, so this is a
good
legitimate
fighter, yeah.
kickboxer, and he literally knocked him out. He didn't take
Yeah.
him down. He didn't beat him in a way that. And this is a big dude, so he
Yeah.
was less reach, thick, and that got him in the UFC. Then he goes in the UFC, and now he's 2-0 in the UFC, both knockouts.
He actually had to take a year off after he signed the contract because of an injury.
Yeah,
So
that's right. I
just
remember that. I
Sitting
remember
on
that.
the
Yeah, yeah,
contract for a year, finally gets in
yeah.
there, beats a guy from Texas. Oh well,
That's okay.
but I
And,
love Ty, man.
by beating him, buddy, he beat him.
Oh, maybe we should tell him how this fight went. We haven't mentioned that.
Yeah.
Another first-round knockout. I mean,
Well, I
beat,
just said it was 2 first-round knockouts, so
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he knocked out.
he beat the shit. I don't think Ty got hit.
No.
I mean, he beat the living
He
shit
looks
out of
so
him.
composed, and that's to be a big guy like that, you don't see guys that size be so. And I want to say athletic, but you think of athletic being an athletic guy like a swimmer's body, right?
Yeah.
But he's athletic in a way that's just like you can look at someone's face and tell if they're athletic. When they're in a fight in the octagon with that kind of pressure and they're fighting, to have that kind of composure in their face. He's athletic, bro, and he's very composed, and that's dangerous, man. You could just see the fear in the guy's eyes, and he was just like following up one punch after another, the body, the head.
Well,
I mean,
see,
he was just everything, man.
The first of all, 6 guys turned down that fight before that Cyril actually took the fight.
Really?
Yeah.
You're talking about this one right
yeah,
now.
this last fight. Yeah, 6 guys
Oh,
turned
wow.
it down before Cyril agreed to do it.
I remember he was having trouble getting an opponent.
And dude, have you ever seen? I mean, maybe I'm new to the light or heavyweight division, but do you see the elbows and the knee?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, he
Maybe
mixes the
that's-
elbows really well. In fact, I think at least one, if not 2 of the times that he got the most rocked was from an elbow,
Yeah.
like a leaping elbow.
Good. Yeah, good.
Brutal.
Solid, on point, man.
Yeah, you did
Maybe
a
I'm
good job.
biased,
You did a
yeah.
good job teaching him those elbows, man.
I mean, it was a slow weekend.
I mean, considering y'all were just hanging out and stuff, and that's good, man.
We
Congratulations.
didn't do a
on
whole
that.
lot of training while we were hanging out.
Yeah, well,
We
maybe
did a lot of reading.
you just showed him the elbows. That was
Yeah,
it.
a
It's
little-
like, hey, this might help in the UFC.
That and some poetry.
Yeah.
You see the shout out he gave me whenever he won today?
No.
It was real quiet. But I'll tell you the beauty of what he did do afterwards.
It's real
'Cause
quiet.
I don't know if anybody's familiar.
Oh,
I don't know
God,
how many
dude.
Australian,
Oh, my
how many
God.
Australian people y'all hang out with? But I hung out with him and some of his friends. Not going to mention names. There's no point. But a shoey. Now this is where you pass somebody's shoe
So gross, man.
around the bar. Everybody spits in it, or pours a little beer. One of the two, whatever.
I think they do both. They spit and then they pour alcohol in it, and you have to drink it all.
And the last one to get it has to pour the rest of your beer in there or something and take it. And he did. Well, he didn't do all the spitting and shit. I don't
Hopefully
think, but
not. We don't. By the time they got the camera to him, he
Yeah.
was just drinking out of the.
Okay, now the beauty of this is obviously UFC's sponsored by Reebok. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that was an Adidas shoe.
Yes,
So
we
that
know
had
it
to
wasn't
be-
his shoe.
That was some asshole in the crowd.
Yes.
Just gave him his shoe.
So we know it wasn't his nasty, or not his own shoe. It was a nasty shoe from someone else. Someone else's sweat and
I mean,
athlete's
even
foot
if it's
and
your
everything
boy,
else.
I love you, Mike, but you give me your shoe after you wear it.
I'm not drinking out of my own shoes.
Yeah, I'm not,
and I'm
I would
clean.
drink out of a brand new shoe.
You know how clean I am, dude.
Yeah.
And I still wouldn't drink out of my shoes with no spit. Like
you hardly walk in your shoes.
I barely walk.
I couldn't imagine.
Like plastic socks
Well,
on
you can
before
tell
I
he
put them
didn't know
on.
whose it was because after he did it, he just threw it in the crowd. I mean, what a come
So
on.
there's some dude walking to his car with one shoe and a
One
sock.
shoe on. What
But
a
he's
great
telling
story.
everybody. He's
What a
like, dude, you
great
remember
story.
Ty? He drank my shoe.
Yeah, man, I was so proud of it. Man, that was awesome, man. Like I said, I wish we would have been there. It's so busy right now at the gym.
See, these people critique like for instance, you know, how are you on the podcast? No one so much. It's just that, you know, you don't know anything about MMA. But dude, look at these people that we know. We know almost everyone at every UFC.
Yeah.
We've been around all these guys, and you've hung out with most of them. So,
Again, I've never thrown a punch to Ty. I've never blocked a kid. We've never done any training. None.
but it's still cool because when we talk about these fighters, we have personal relationships
Yeah.
with them. So it's like that's the difference people have to understand with our podcast and how we're different than everybody else. We're
Yeah.
not a reporter.
No.
Based podcast. We're not sitting here like the news is this, Ty wins by knockout. You know, we're not doing that shit. And then we're not also trying to fake some like facade characters of like trying to be funny as these characters that are, you know,
Yeah.
doing whatever and we have our stick. We're just like, I'm a fighter that's been in the UFC for 10 years, 15 fights. You've been there with me the whole time. Never been in a fight,
Man.
but we've hung out with fucking everybody, dude. So it's like when we go through these recaps, we can tell stories about shit that's like nobody
And
knows.
I think the beauty of this fight is I watched it at AKA. You watched it at home.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to. Whenever he has got one of his
Yeah,
boys
Luke.
fighting, like you, whenever you fought, I started out, 6, 8, 10,
Let's
12.
be honest.
30
Let's
guys.
be honest about the whole thing here, since we're gonna be honest about where we watched the fight. So you watched the fight at AK and held the party,
Yeah.
and I watched it here. And the plan was we were gonna do the podcast right after the fight. So
Yeah.
I'm here waiting on you,
Yeah.
and then you go to the beach, fucker.
Well, I haven't had look at me.
This guy goes to the beach. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know if you wanted to do the podcast or not."
Well, you didn't answer my phone call. So.
But it is the middle of the night, and I didn't answer his phone call, so I'll give him that. That's
here
the thing
now.
about Thailand. You can just lose your friend to the beach at any given time.
Luckily, it was just the beach, not
So
some
I'm just
random
sitting here
road.
waiting. I'm like, dude, you coming or what? And he's like, oh, I'm on the beach.
Well, I was taking notes on the fight.
Yeah, that's where we go.
I was
Anyway,
going over 'em.
so we're a couple hours delayed, but whatever. So anyway, great fight by Ty.
Yeah.
Man, sky's the limit for that guy. I mean, he's going to be. I think he's Mark Hunt 2.0. He's the new young Mark Hunt. I think.
Yeah.
And even he's going to be even more better experienced in the MMA realm because Mark Hunt came from kickboxing and then age started taking a toll and then he got older and stuff like that. He's young and he's training full on MMA. So the way him and even Mark Hunt right now is training is way better for MMA than Hunt was training when he first got into MMA.
He's 19 years older than Ty.
Yeah, so he has such an advantage as far as time on his side. So he can develop into quite a fighter, man. And the whole crew, you know, the whole Hunt crew,
Yeah.
they're all savages, man.
All of them.
They're savages, dude. All of them. Every single one of them, dude.
I literally have probably the best time when they all come down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, hats off to you if you're watching, which I'm sure he will. Ty, man, good job, buddy.
yeah.
One of
awesome
these,
job,
give him one of
dude.
these Western Australia.
I don't even know what that is, man. I'm
Yeah.
probably going to do some weird gang sign and get, like, attacked when I
shot.
go back to the States.
That's Vanilla
Okay,
Ice, by the
stop.
way.
Calm down.
Vanilla
We don't
Ice.
want Vanilla Ice after us.
All right, all
That dude's deep in the streets.
Word to your mother.
Oh, we're done now. But, all right.
To the extreme, I'm rocking the mic like a vandal.
Okay, so after Ty, then we had the
We had
co-main event of the
yeah.
evening,
Hunt versus Blades.
Hunt versus Blaze. Now, I'll be honest with you. This is the one where I was worried about the fight because I love Hunt.
Yeah.
I cornered Hunt to
Yeah.
his fight with Bigfoot, and we won
Bigfoot too.
We won that fight, and he trained with us at AK Thailand. I have a good relationship with Hunt, so I want him
And
to
his
win
kid,
him, and I
his
care a
family.
lot about him. This was a fight I was worried about, and what I was worried about was what happened toward the end of the first round. That's what I was worried about, and what I was hoping would happen was what happened at the beginning of the first round. Hunt hits like a Mack truck, man. I mean, you see it. I mean, the guy fought Ngannou, you know what I mean? Like, and survived that. And like now, he's taking these punches from Hunt, and man, he was just wobbly. And I think Hunt's complacency is what cost him that fight. I think he could have finished it had he rushed a little bit in, like just rushed in a little bit more and followed up with one or two more. That guy would have been sleeping face down on the mat for sure. I mean, he was out of it.
When he was rocked and did that left hook, with full power, just completely turned his body and got taken down. I mean, it's
Yeah.
off balance. I mean, it sucks, but again, that's what you got to watch out for, I guess.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Like, so I was excited watching him win in the fight. Like, I literally thought he won the fight, and then man, of course, Blaydes mixes it up and does what he should be doing, is mixing up to his wrestling, and he gets Mark Hunt down, controls him on the ground. I was a little surprised, to be honest with you, how easy it was to take Mark Hunt down on the open mat. His takedown defense is usually a little bit better than that. Off the wall, he showed decent takedown defense, but I mean, Blaydes obviously had decent shots. He had one really bad shot that got him down that I was surprised about, but the rest of them were pretty well timed. And then he had some good leg trips off the wall. And he had a good game plan. I mean, he did what he had to do to fight Mark Hunt, and I was surprised he didn't start doing that from the beginning, because he went out there in the beginning just slinging, like punch for punch. That's something you shouldn't do with Mark Hunt, you know. I was happy to see it because I wanted to see Mark Hunt get that big knockout, but he took a pretty big penalty for that. I mean, he took some punishment for sure.
It was either, if not the number one or his top whatever of the biggest age discrepancies between the two.
Oh yeah,
he's 26 and 43. I mean,
that's crazy.
That's up there.
Yeah. So man, you gotta give it to Hunt, man. He goes out there and he puts it on the line every time, and he fights. He doesn't throw a punch just to throw it. Like, every single punch is to knock you out.
Yeah. And
most of them do. Blaydes happened to take him, and he took enough and wobbled his way around to get far enough away to set up those takedowns, and
I think he had 11
hats off to him
or something. I mean, it
was a lot, yeah. And hats off to him. He had a good fight, and again, you know, I'm bummed out for seeing Hunt lose. Always am.
He'll come back though, man. That guy always surprises.
And that's the thing. He shouldn't, but he will.
Yeah,
he shouldn't, man. Everybody wants him to just stop because he's done so much. He's a legend, but he just doesn't want to stop fighting.
When we had him on here, episode 3,
he was one of our alum of the show, but he was our third episode first guest,
first in-house guest,
first guest at all. Christian,
yeah, still, but
it's our friend.
Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, he said, oh, maybe 2 more fights, I'm done or whatever, and that looks like now he's just gonna keep fighting.
Yeah, I mean, how many fights has he had since then? Since episode number 3, is it just
because maybe he was gonna fight and then got pulled out?
That's right.
The comments he said in the paper.
Yeah.
But he'll be back, man.
Yeah, he'll be back for sure. Just, man, I think he's done enough, man. I think he's done enough. I hate to tell people they shouldn't fight, but
well, you know, he'll be in Thailand next week at some point.
Yeah,
hopefully in the next
week. I'm sure they'll all be here. But man, I'm such a big fan. I want to just see him
get him back on here,
have a good life, and live good, and just have fun, man. And
yeah.
He's done enough, man. He's fought for so long, dude.
UFC Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I think so.
Has to be.
I think so, man. He's done it all. And then the main event, the most dreaded fight I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold.
I was trying to prolong this.
Romero.
With the Thai talk.
The one thing I was worried about, I was talking to Javier about this before the fight, and you know, we were talking about how the fight could go and what we need to do, or what Luke needs to do. And the biggest thing we're worried about is how explosive Romero is landing that punch. And we knew Luke was going to go in there and not fight him like he fought Bisping, and be not complacent and keep his hands up and fight his style, which he did. He fought for the most part really smart.
He was winning.
But Romero's explosiveness, man, it's just ridiculous. And he was also southpaw, and Luke was southpaw. And I think Luke is used to circling against an orthodox. And so I don't know if he just wasn't thinking, but he was circling the wrong, you know, into the power a little bit too much. And the worst thing I think that he did, in my opinion, was backing straight up. But again, until you're out there, it's easy to say this.
Yeah,
Until you're out there and you're fighting a guy like Romero who's coming at you with crazy punches and stuff, it's tough. But when you back straight up, just as a lesson that I was told, and it's helped me in my game, when you back straight up, that's a good example of why you don't. Because when you fight somebody that's flurrying on you and they're coming straight forward, when you back straight up, there's only one thing that can happen. That means you're going to hit the cage and you're going to stop. And when you stop, if your hands aren't exactly where they should be, you're going to take a punch or two. And he survived 2 of those, I think 2 or 3 of those without taking too much damage. But then that last one. And then I hated seeing that follow-up one, man.
Yeah, I hate when he was already knocked out.
I hate it because, I mean, it's sad for me because, like, I know how good Luke is. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world.
Ever, yeah.
Like, I think he's literally one of the best fighters in the world. Overall, his overall game is so good. So when he loses, it just hurts a little bit more because it's like, yeah.
See, I thought with him being overweight, short notice, losing 30% of your purse, It used to be 20. Did they bump it to 30?
I don't know.
Just to
I never
penalize
heard it
more?
being 30 before.
I mean, I
I
could
thought
be
it
wrong.
started as 10 and then went to 20, and then I heard 30
Well,
for this
30's
one.
substantial now. That's
For them,
I mean,
yeah,
fuck.
for a main event of a title fight.
And-
It was
and-
a title fight.
even though he won, now he's not champion. He could have had the belt had he
Yeah.
just lost another.
Well, an interim belt. It's
still
so
better than
confusing
nothing.
with all these
Yeah, it's
interims
still
and
better.
stuff.
Than,
Yeah,
Still better than a.
and they're saying this stuff like, they don't care about the belt or they don't want the belt. Or I don't know if Romero was saying it or whoever, but it's like, I'd want that belt. You
Yeah.
know, an interim belt. I don't care.
Any belt, yeah.
Hey, any belt that says UFC on it, I'll take it. I'll take that belt.
That's
you
what
know?
I figured he was gonna gas out, middle second or anything, but he still looked.
No, they did a good job when they were commentating that fight by saying that he unloads and reloads. Perfect.
'Cause it was, like I said, it was hard to hear in that.
Yeah, it was,
whatever.
it was a perfect analogy. Like that's what he does. He explodes and then he sits back and breathes, catches his breath, moves around, has good footwork, and then he explodes again. And then he catches his breath, explodes again. That's why you have to constantly pressure him. And I think Whitaker did a great game plan against Romero, and that's how he beat him. So
Still,
now it's going to be the same fight again. It's going to be Whitaker and Romero again, which I really wanted to see Luke and Whitaker because that
Yeah.
stylistically, that's an intriguing match. It's a good match. I'm not as excited to see Romero and Whitaker again as I would be to see Luke and Whitaker. So
well, hopefully they don't drop him too far out because he was winning the fight. He did get clipped. I mean, hats off to Romero. He did win, but I obviously shit happens.
you
I
never
just
know
wanna-
how it's going to go as far as the
Yeah.
rankings, where they're going to say he's at. But it's like me knowing him, I know he's one of the best fighters in the world. And so it's just like, fuck, man, that sets him back, I don't know. So disappointed about that. So,
But great card,
I mean, yeah,
know,
the
besides-
card was exciting and it lived up to,
except for the two guys losing that we
I mean,
wanted to
yeah,
win, but-
we have, and that's the other downside, I guess, about our
Yeah.
podcast is we know so many people that we're going to be down here and
yeah,
there.
it sucks
Because we
man.
train with a lot of these guys at AKA, or they come through here, or they're our friends and teammates, my teammates from before. But overall for the fans, I think it was a good card. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a lot of finishes. It was very exciting. I mean, shit, almost all finishes in the main card. It was like only one decision, right? Something like
I
that.
think 2 decisions.
Was it 2?
Yeah, there was 2.
Okay.
Because the Matthews should have been.
Oh, yeah,
choke
that's
out,
right.
yeah.
That's right. I'm thinking that one. And then the rest
and
was
then Hunt
the
lost the decision.
the
but,
arm lock and then the knockout.
but yeah, overall good.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
Yep. And so I think that's it, man. That's pretty much all we have for that show. We have Khabib coming up.
Yeah.
Khabib coming up next, and I just want to say I'm excited about that fight,
Yeah.
man.
Can we watch that one together?
Let's do it together.
All right.
We'll watch that one together.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a great fight. That's gonna be a really good one. So we'll do another. We might do a pre-show on that one and then a recap, but we'll definitely do a recap on that one.
I'm down. Down
yeah.
to churn some of these out.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Thanks for listening to our rambling about UFC 221, and tell us what you think in the comments. Let us know if you agree with what we said. Your thoughts on the fights.
Hey, I didn't have anything negative to say today.
No, it's
Did
pretty
I?
good for you,
Yeah.
actually.
I don't know why, but
Yeah. So yeah, we try to keep in good spirits, even though we were a little bit sad. But thanks for the support. The channel's growing really fast. We're trying to get these videos out a lot faster and more often.
yeah, don't be too hard on us. It's really just Mike doing all the work. I just sit here and say dumb shit.
No, we have other people doing the work, but
yeah,
like,
but
because we're having to do so many now, we're just coming in here sometimes on our own, like right now, and then just doing this. So we're putting these together and then just sending them off to get edited. So
I mean, you'll see our hard work. Check out the Instagram, the AK Thailand one. You'll see
Yeah.
we're packed, man. So
yeah, that's why we couldn't go to the UFC
yeah,
this time. But definitely thank our sponsors, MikeSpeak.com, akthailand.com, the gym, obviously. He's wearing the shirt right now. But we have the Instagram going full speed, man. So if you want to go to Instagram on AK, it's at AK Thailand. We have albums with stories that have people from all over the world, testimonials,
celebrities.
everything. You can learn all about the gym in a matter of a few minutes.
So we got more celebrities coming.
So check it out, guys.
Shit. Is it still recording, or did it stop?
I'll just say it stopped. Fuck it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Hey, what happened?
what happened was the camera said that we need to shut up,
Yeah.
and it just stopped. So that's why that was an abrupt stop to the middle of my
we both
conversation.
noticed the same time, though. Huh?
I think the camera thinks we ramble too much.
Jealous.
So I don't know where we were when the camera stopped, but thank you for stopping. And
So follow us on Instagram.
I don't know where we were. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for the support. And again, I don't know if we said this, but follow the AKA Instagram, and you can AKA Thailand Instagram, and you can actually see what's going on. We're building some really cool stuff. It's a full-on gym resort, and we are doing a basketball court, a cool tower that we're gonna let you guys know about soon. Another huge Muay Thai area, a CrossFit area. And it's just a gorgeous area with the scenery and the mountain and everything.
We're going to need new parking, too.
We're building the parking at the top. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff. So follow that at AKA Thailand, our sponsor. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we will reply accordingly. Yeah. So thanks.
Congrats to everybody who fought on that card, all the ones we know.
Yeah, great fights.
All right.